Cardiff, coming at ya, live and direct. Jimmy Dubworth, and we've got special guests for you today. As you can hear the music of the oppressed, and our guest today is none other than the American hooligan, Mr. Derek Diablo. Coming from Miami. How are you today, Diablo? Woo! Well, you know it's like this, baby. When you, the international man of mystery, and the top lad that I am, every day is a different adventure, you see. Oi, there, boy. So, we know that you've become a bluebird and you spent time here in Cardiff, and we've seen the videos. So, how exactly did you come to be aware of and involved in Bluebirds Unite, the Cardiff City supporters group? Well, brother, as I came to know the true history of CCFC and Cardiff and got to know the people of Cardiff and got to know the supporters, got to know the lads and so forth, I come to know about the Bluebirds Unite movement, and obviously I have a lot of experience in political organizing and so forth, and I come to see the power of the people coming together. And as you know, it's a long history, pride, identity. You know, talking about history, pride, and identity. Talking about Bluebirds, CCFC, Soul Crew, ha ha ha. Yeah, so the thing about it is, brother, I saw that through the ups and downs of the club and so forth, and particularly what I was very impressed by when I got to know Sean Branson, the leader and everything, and I was also taught a lot by Lou, my mate Loopy Lou, who's from Philly, stationed in, you already know. And basically, the thing that struck me was when Mr. Vincent Tan had changed the kits to red, and the people came together and said, no, Bluebird identity, and the fact of the matter is they got the kits changed back. And that had everything to do with the people coming together under the Bluebirds Unite organization or movement, as you could call it. So I was very impressed by that. And the thing about it is, the work is not done, you understand? And CCFC, as we all know, is at a low point right now. I'm talking about in the sense of the morale and everything like that. And by me getting involved with the Bluebirds Unite and bringing it into the next era and for the next generation and spreading it globally. Because we're talking about Bluebirds Nation now, you understand? I'm Bluebird. I walk in the stadium, you know what I'm saying? I go up in the stands and the people are chanting for me, baby. They say, Diablo is a Bluebird. Diablo is a Bluebird. La, 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 la. And I was reading online before I got back to Cardiff. People was writing it, you understand? So it's an honor for me to be associated and embraced and accepted by this club and this fan base and this firm, as I may say. And it may not be everybody's cup of tea, so to speak, pun intended. And a lot of people don't like the Cardiff, and a lot of people don't like the Welsh. And they're tough titties, baby, because I love the Welsh, and I love Cardiff. Doesn't negate my feelings towards anybody else from England or any of the other countries in UK, you understand? But I do love the Welsh, and I do love the Cardiff. Yeah. Oi, Diablo! So, you mentioned something about Mr. Vincent Tan. Would you care to go further? Well, brother, how about we go into Mr. Tan a bit later, because there's other things that I'd like to mention, primarily being the history, because a lot of people don't know this history because, let's face it, Americans, we got our own American football, and as some of you may know, that's our number one sport, but then we got the basketball, baseball, and hockey, and basically the football, our football, association with soccer has moved from the fifth sport. It has passed baseball in popularity, and it's my intention and my ambition to make it the number one sport in this country, as it is the world's global sport. You understand? It gives us a playing field whereby we can all interact with one another and really see who's on top, and that could be on the pitch or on the streets. Now, here's the thing about it. You go into the Cardiff City FC, the great Bluebirds. You go into the history, baby. 124 years of history. So our country is not as old as America, as obviously the European and Wales and so forth. So our country already has less history or whatever. And then when it comes to our football, you got to figure, I'm Fort Lauderdale Strikers through and through. That's what I am. How Bluebirds means to you, Fort Lauderdale Strikers, you could say, means to me. So Inter Miami is the current iteration of that in that sense, because to me, everybody don't have to agree with that. It's in the same stadium. It's in the same grounds. It's a different color, different kit. And Inter Miami is going to have its own stadium in 2000, coming up until 2025, in anticipation of 2026 World Cup, you understand? And I'll be just pleased as pie if once into Miami go, they want to make it they want to make our Fort Lauderdale Striker Stadium ground, the new stadium, but still they want to make it as like the second. We have a second club and minor league club, let's say, not even what would be second division. This would be more like a fifth division in UK. You understand? Because our MLS ain't on the same level. So whatever. And the fact of the matter is, I want Fort Lauderdale Strikers to have our own stadium, and this is where we play Miami against Fort Lauderdale. There we have a proper South Florida derby, understand? But going back into the great CCFC and the Bluebirds, 124 years of history. And I went and studied everything like that, on my own. But the stuff that's available online doesn't tell the stuff that I know and doesn't tell the history I know. And as far as the foremost historian of Bluebirds, CCFC, and the culture and the history and the pride and the identity, who's able to put it lucidly in terms that it brought tears not only his eyes, but my eyes as well. Sat in alone on our own talking about this history. I'm talking about none other than my mate, Mac, you understand, Neil McInnes, Soul Crew. He taught me quite a bit about the culture, and everybody can talk about the fighting and everything like that, and the firms and the rivalry, and there's no shortage of lads to talk about that, and I enjoy all that. But going deeper than all that, the brotherhood, the camaraderie, well, that gets deeper. That gets into family, and it gets into generations. And what I learned about Bluebirds is the following. And this is not written anywhere. And, in the comments below, whatever, somebody else, you all from Cardiff can contribute. But what I know is he told me, and this had to do with when the kit was changed and everything, it has to do with the history of coal mining. Cardiff was a port city, and the valleys, I love valleys, Caerphilly, Aber Valley, Bargoed, I love it. So I'm a valley boy also. And then I'm a diff boy and a valley boy, understand? So thing about it is, in the old coal mining days, that's where you get the bluebird, isn't it? Because bluebird, they'll send a bluebird into the coal mine. And people heard about the canary in the coal mine. And that we see if the air is poisoned or not. So that's the significance of the bluebird, as I come to know. And basically that going back into these mining days and so forth, all these coal miners, they'd work hard all week in these conditions, deadly conditions and so forth, put food on the table, and they'd, cuff a little money to the side, just a little bit. Otherwise the wife, the wifey would take it, the missus would take it and spend it for the family. So they cuff it just a little bit to the side, and they say that, and they go into town, they go into Cardiff, go into the city to see the great Bluebirds. So it brought together all of that mining in South Wales, and you understand, in those valleys, and so all these different football clubs, UK football clubs, and some of the American ones have different traditions that stem from non-football origins, let's say. Manchester United obviously came from the Lancashire, Yorkshire railway workers that made a football club. You got the Heart of Midlothian of Scotland, Hearts. It came from a dancing club, Plymouth Argyle. People don't exactly know, but I say it came from the Argyle pub. So a pub turned into a football club by going up to the promotion and having all the years of history, and the CCFC is the same, and the Bluebirds. So then when I studied further into the Bluebirds Unite movement and heard what Sean was telling me, also what Lou was telling me, is that, and Mac, is that it's not just about being in the Premiership, not just about going to the First Division. It's about Bluebirds. It's about Bluebirds being in the First Division, you understand? So without the Bluebird identity, the people will not support it, and this is what happened with the kit, with turning it red, and Mr. Vincent Tan, I'll speak more on him individually in a moment. But he saved the club. There's no question about that. And if you listen to Mr. Ennis Abraham in the Central Club podcast talking about it, he respects him for doing so. And, the club would have been lost, let's say. So Mr. Vincent Tan has his place. But going back a little further into the history, Bluebirds could not have had, in my view, maybe not financially, I don't know, but it could not have had a greater owner than Mr. Sam Hammam, the great Lebanese businessman, the geezer, the lad, you understand? All right, boys. And I respect that man. I had the honor of meeting him on the telephone when I was sat at a breakfast the day before Millwall with Mr. Ernest Abraham and Mr. Jonathan Evans. And it was my great honor in life to have been there, and that he wanted to meet me, and we talked for a moment. And under whatever circumstances, it's my goal to have Mr. Hammam involved and given the recognition that he deserves. And everybody may not like his approach and the so-called Champagne Army and his idea with some of the boys and some of the lads and bringing some of the lads into the club. Other people may not appreciate it, but guess what? It's my favorite owner of any football team in history, globally, Mr. Sam Hammam, the geezer, the man. And I want to bring Mr. Hammam back. Does that mean Mr. Tan goes out? No. And we may as well get into Mr. Vincent Tan right now, because I'd like to speak directly to him. Okay, well, Del Boy, let's take a pause there, and we're going to go to commercials, and we'll come back, so we'll give you the proper time to talk. Your selector, Jimmy Dubworth, Radio Cardiff. We'll be back.